Good afternoon. Good afternoon to Pinhole Quilting. I'm Liz, my husband Pete is just behind the camera, and we'd like to welcome you to our showroom here in Pershore, Worcestershire. It's been a fantastic start to the year. We've been delighted to, well, Pete's been off and about over to the east of England into deepest Norfolk, seeing a few customers over there. So congratulations to Jackie and Liz for the changes to their existing systems and upgrades. So absolutely brilliant. I'm excited to show certainly the Pro-Stitcher that Jackie's now got, how to use it. And that's what we're going to focus on today. But we'll talk about that in a moment. We hope you all had a wonderful Christmas and New Year with family and friends. We've heard from quite a few customers, unfortunately, have been caught by various lurgies that seem to be going around at the moment, including Pete, who
me too. I'm sounding a bit huskier than normal. This is the downside of visiting grandchildren, isn't it, over your festive period?
It is. I recommend vitamin D, Pete. Hopefully stops you from getting the viruses quite so easily, but well, time will tell. But anyway, we were both there and I didn't get a virus so far, so I'm very, very lucky. The new year always seems to spark off quite a few thoughts with existing customers who are thinking maybe about their setup and what they're going to do during the winter months. This is a great opportunity for our customers to really get involved in their quilting, and that's what I know that a number of you will be doing. And having spoken to a few potential customers about some of our pre-loved long arms that we've got on our website as well, I know that a number of you have been looking over Christmas and New Year excitedly at the prospects of having a long arm and maybe doing a few more exciting projects that you won't be able to do on a domestic machine. That extra throat space that we have on these long arm machines really gives us that potential to exploit thread work, be able to do quilting designs that we couldn't do previously, etc. So we hope that whatever your passion is in terms of your quilting, that you achieve your goals this year. I've set some for myself as well. In fact, I've had a few things that I've completed in the last few weeks, much to Pete's surprise, and including...
Liz has actually done some quilting. It's extraordinary.
And it was brilliant this week. On Tuesday, I spent some time with the local Competent Quilters group, of which we have, I think there were 8 long arm customers in Competent Quilters out of the 12 people who were there at the day, who were sewing away, making some lovely charity quilts. So I was delighted to be able to join with the group. I hope that won't be the only one this year, but it just depends on our agenda and our timing of various things that we've got planned for the year. I will try and avoid it if I can, to clash with Competent Quilters, because it's so nice to quilt with friends. And one of the things I was thinking in the last hour or so as we were talking about what we're going to do on this session was how much I was looking forward to hopefully having some of our customers online that we get to chat with, because although we can't do it, as we say now, in real life, IRL. I always thought that stood for Ireland, but anyway, I keep seeing it and thinking, why are they putting IRL on it? But anyway, in real life, we can't do it on our long arms, generally, because we're not taking them to classes and things. So to be able to connect here on Facebook or on Zoom classes, that we are contemplating exactly what the agenda will be for those classes this year, and we'll be finalising those and letting you know. So, Pete,
we have a few people online. So good. First today was Jan Bevan. Happy New Year to you, Jan. Happy New Year, Jan. Louise Cox, Happy New Year. Thanks for my delivery today.
Excellent. Good to hear that you've got it.
Di Bell, Happy New Year. She's just had a tooth out, so having a quiet afternoon. Well, I've been to the dentist today as well, but luckily mine was only routine. Di.
Yeah, Di, that's painful. I hope you're okay.
And Val Brooks.
And Val.
And Chris Hillier, there we are.
Oh, and Chris Hillier, yeah. Great, who's got this fantastic cabinet full of glide threads, including the new collection that she got for Christmas. So congratulations, Chris, and best wishes to you and to Vic. Now, there are a few things that we're going to discuss today. What we'd like to do, we thought it might be useful, because quite a few people recently have upgraded their existing systems to Pro-Stitcher, but it's not always obvious. What is Pro-Stitcher, and what does computerized quilting give you? Is it a question of just pressing a button and it finishing your quilt for you? Definitely that is not just what it's about, and we wanted to go through with you what's included in the system, because some people might just see that there's a tablet and think that's it. So we're going to compare Pro-Stitcher Premium, Pro-Stitcher Lite, and then we're going to go through the classes, some of the classes we've got coming up in the first quarter 2023, and we're going to do the prize draw. We joined Trustpilot late last year, and we've got some lovely reviews on there now, and we've got a free prize draw based on some of those, the entries for the Trustpilot. So we're going to do the draw later out of one of the chocolate boxes that we finished off over Christmas. Isn't that right? Oh, it's not. Oh, it's in a little jar. I saw Pete put it in the chocolate box. Quality Street. Now, Pro-Stitcher. Let's start with Pro-Stitcher Lite, the most recent addition to the computerized family that Handy Quilter have. So the Pro-Stitcher Lite is designed for the smaller of the range of long arms. So it starts with our 15-inch Moxie, and it includes the 16-inch Simply 16, which I've got just behind here, which I think you can see.
Yeah, so that's the only two machines that this one. Pro-Stitcher Lite will work with.
Yeah. Now, the standard Moxie has this carriage here, which fits on the loft frame, and with a conversion kit, it will fit on a little foot frame as well. It's a 4-wheel carriage, and it has an encoder at the back. This is all fresh air. When you get Pro-Stitcher Lite, we send you a tray. It fits in. We turn this round, upside down, and I'll do the same on this one, so you can see you get a tray, what they call a tray. And this is the bit that we add. So this is really one of the main components of Pro-Stitcher Lite, is this tray here. And instead of these little bolts that we've got on our existing carriage, we put these new bolts that are slightly longer so that we can hold the tray in place. And in terms of installation of the hardware on the carriage, that is pretty much it. It's got a cog here. This goes into a blue track that you'll install onto your frame. And I did a video last year that shows how to install it. And we send you a template to help you do the installation as well. So that blue track is what this cog here, which is on the X-axis, is going to move along. And that registers any movement that you make with the Pro-Stitcher, and it's also what drives the Pro-Stitcher from the computerized design. On the Y-axis, this one here, we need something similar to this that fits on the machine. So on our machine, what we've got here is this bar, which fits on the underside of the machine, and it's got a blue track on there as well. Okay, so we put it onto the underside of the machine, and that's what's going to drive it in the Y direction. That X and Y is what enables us to get the circular designs that we want to get from the computerized system. Our Moxie also needs some leads, so these leads are included too. And what most people think of as a computerized system is this tablet here. It fits on the top of the Moxie. We take the screen plate off and put the plug that takes what does it take? It takes the power from the machine, and then there's an extra USB cable that goes from the tablet to the machine as well, which takes the communications. So those two things are plugged into the side of the tablet, power and communications, and the information goes from the machine to the carriage using this cable here. And this rear one is the encoder, which will have been on the original machine. And that is pretty much it, aside from the software, of course, a very, very important component. So let's just talk about the software and what you get with Pro-Stitcher Lite, and what the differences are then in terms of Pro-Stitcher Lite versus Pro-Stitcher, what's called Premium, which fits on the bigger machines. So Pro-Stitcher Lite, we've got 250 designs, and some of those designs crop them and reduce them so they're just a component that we then duplicate, so we can actually create secondary designs from the ones that are included as well. Plus, if you go on websites like Wasatch Quilting or Quiltable or Urban Elements, one of those sites where you can also purchase pantographs, you can buy your digital designs there too. So this is how we get more designs onto our tablet, and we would download them onto our Mac or onto our Windows tablet or computer, onto a USB stick, and then plug it into the side of the tablet. And that will enable us to get additional designs downloaded from the internet. It's a standalone computer. It doesn't need updates from Windows. It will continue working as long as the lifetime of the computer allows it to. It will be able to take lifetime updates from Pro-Stitcher, That's the Handy Quilter computerized program. And we've still got customers who've got the very original version of Pro-Stitcher back in 2010. Those original tablets, which are quite different from the ones that we see now, are still going strong. They don't need to be updated from Windows, and they just work as standalone units, which is a real advantage actually, because one of the problems that I've seen with systems where you don't get the tablet included is that the Windows updates frequently disrupt the running program, and from some of the people I've spoken to who've got some of those alternatives, they find it quite a problem in terms of the software not being stable. So I think that's something that I would prefer a standalone system that will keep going regardless of whatever Microsoft do. It is a Microsoft system, and you can download a version of Pro-Stitcher Lite so that you can play with it onto your Windows computer. I believe that you can do an emulation mode if you've got an Apple. I haven't done that myself. I'm not an Apple person. You can use Pro-Stitcher Designer, but it's not included. Okay, so that's an additional extra that if you want to get into digitizing, you can purchase separately.
Do you want to just say what Pro-Stitcher Designer is in a bit more detail? Yeah,
so Pro-Stitcher Designer is a digitizing package. It enables us to take, say you're into embroidery, you might have embroidery software, and that would enable you to do things like, motifs at a scale that suits an embroidery hoop. But you can think of this as being like a very, very big embroidery hoop, and that would mean that we could stitch out really large scale designs that might be on your embroidery machine. So you'd import them as your Husqvarna format or your Brother format or whatever, and then PES format into Pro-Stitcher Designer, change them as you need, and then export them to Handy Quilter format or Handy Quilter vector. You can also take in SVG files, which are a vector graphic, and you can export from Adobe Illustrator if that's what you're into, CorelDRAW files, etc. We can also export things that have like an outline, and you can use a digitizing tool to sort of automatically create that. I did one yesterday where I took the Handy Quilter format, which is an EPS file, and I took that EPS file and I used the auto digitizing feature, just kind of got the right order, because sometimes it puts it in the wrong order for stitch out, and so I just put it in the right order and I started stitching it out on our Pro-Stitcher over there by taking it to a USB, having downloaded it. So there's lots of things that you can do like that if you are so inclined to be into the digitizing stuff. Warranty on this is a 5-year mechanical and electrical, and 2-year on the tablet, which is excellent. So what does it work with? Pro-Stitcher Lite works on, as we said, the Moxie and on the Simply, and there are 2 price points, one for the Moxie and the Simply on the loft frame, and then there's an additional cost of £300 if you want to have your Simply 16 on a Littlefoot frame, because you need a slightly different carriage, which goes from an 8-wheel carriage to a 4-wheel carriage, and you need different tracks for your Littlefoot frame. So we need to send you those. And you'll also need, for the loft frame, if you haven't already got it, you'll need the table as well, won't you, Pete?
Yes, that's included in the price.
It's included in the price. So that's cool. It's very much a self-install. That's why I did some videos last year, because I thought it'd be useful to show you how we did it. And the instructions are extremely comprehensive. And there's also the built app, which shows you how to put the Pro-Stitcher Lite on as well, which you might have used if you'd got a Moxie to do the installation in the first place. Pete, I've been talking a lot. I can always talk.
But you'll remember that it surprised me on the 2 occasions when I stood in for you before Christmas, just how much I managed to speak without stopping as well. So it's easily done. Yeah, both of us are normally such quiet, retiring people, aren't we? Okay, so Pro-Stitcher Lite. Any of the other sort of differences, there are some sort of functional differences, which there's some fairly small ones, others that I think if you've had Pro-Stitcher Premium, you went to Pro-Stitcher Lite, there are some functions that if you were into more advanced features, you might sort of go, oh, it doesn't have that. But actually, for the most part, if you want to do things like custom quilting blocks and you want to do edge to edge, Pro-Stitcher Lite is brilliant. It doesn't have things like rubber band, design points, bounds and transparency. You can't record and save, and doesn't have follow or the base function because it doesn't even exist on the machine. So we can't do a few of those things, but
aside from that, and you can't set how many micro stitches you want for tying off. Oh, it doesn't have stitch stats, but it has tons of other stuff. There's a leaflet here, and I've got tick, 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 tick by the majority of the functions.
They're really very similar.
Yeah, they really are. They really are. And when we first got it, in fact, I couldn't actually work out what the differences were. I was thinking, crikey, this has got pretty much everything on premium that I use. So let's talk about, I was just going to plug this in actually. I'll just show you how, once you've got this installed and you flip it the right way up.
So this tray that goes in the carriage is the bit that people don't think of when they think of Pro-Stitcher. They know it's a computerized system, so they know that there's a tablet on the front of the machine. And what many people who are not familiar with these systems don't think about is, how do you move the machine? It has to have a mechanism for moving the machine. And that's what the tray does with the gears and the motors built in. That enables the machine to move automatically. And it's a very neat solution that Handy Quilter have. It's all inbuilt in the carriage. There are no external cables or motors.
That's right.
Or dangerous drive belts. It's all completely inbuilt in there. And because you don't see it when the machine's on, it's easily forgotten, but it's a fairly critical component.
Seem to have got some sort of spaghetti going on. Oh, make sure that doesn't get turned off. That's my little doofer. It's amazing how if you put two wires together, you create some sort of game that you played as a child. Right, we got two power supplies. One goes into the carriage, and the other one goes into the machine. Just put that on, and we turn it on in this order. We turn on the carriage, it makes various little noises. You can hear it sort of getting its cogwheels going, and then I turn on the machine.
So Carol Watson, Happy New Year to you,
Happy New Year, Carol.
Love my Pro-Stitcher Lite, done 22 quilts so far, and another 2 waiting.
Carol is amazing.
Well, you have to stay warm up in the northeast there, Carol.
Oh yes, that's true, that's true. She's going to make some comment back to you. That's cheeky, Pete. Right, then you turn the tablet on. So we'll just set that boot up. We'll hear it whir and stuff. And I was just going to show you as well, since it's here. Can I just show this?
Yeah, of course.
It's going on there. This is a piece, I'm just going to put some binding on it. This is something I finished yesterday, which was based on Talen's workshops that we did last year, with some couching. So there's various types of free motion quilting, couching not using the foot, couching using the foot, and some free motion work and grids work.
This is all free motion though, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not Pro-Stitcher.
That's right. No, it's all completely free motion. You're right. Yeah. I just thought I'd show it. Okay. We're going to do what's in the box. Do you want to do what's in the box?
Yeah.
For Pro-Stitcher Lite while it's
so this is the size
up.
of the box that you get with Pro-Stitcher Lite.
This is it.
Single box, everything in there, unless you need the boards that go on the back of your left frame, which will be in a separate box.
Right. Okay, and by the way, that's now all booted up. And we've got our crosshairs, which are representing the needle. So it's the thing about this system, which until you've really used other systems, you don't appreciate, is how WYSIWYG it is. You know, what you see is what you get. And we can pick up designs out of the library here. So for example, bless this house, or rabbit, slightly scary rabbit.
Just do a simple air stitch of one of those then, Les?
Yep, I can do something like this. Just a simple little flower. There we go. And I can say where it's going to go. I don't have the poles on. Area. Two corner. I have to define as well what the frame space is. So I can say, okay, that's the maximum. Top left.
So you clearly have to tell the machine where you want it to stitch. So
exactly.
Let's just define the area. That's where she wants the design to stitch. But at the moment, you see the design isn't in that area.
That's right. So I've got a flower that's come in at the sort of default size of 5.4 by 5.31, and I want it to fit into there. So I'm going to go to modify the design, in that tab we've got loads of things we can do. We can resize it, we can reposition it, we can drop it somewhere else, we can crop it, we can align it to something we've already got on the screen, and I can skew it, which is the one I really want, which I can just
So the skew function fits it in the box. works.
Like that. And then I do what's called baseline. And now I go to Pro-Stitcher, quilt, and I'll take stitch off so that it doesn't do that. I'm just going to air stitch, proceed. Oh, design is outside the frame space. Okay, I've done it too close. Let me just redesign that area, frame space clear. Beep, beep, beep. Make it much bigger. Two corner.
So Happy New Year to a few people who've just logged on. Carol Mann across in New Jersey, and Val Sawatsky as well. And Cheryl Robinson. Hi, Cheryl.
Okay, so let me just do modify skew, put the skew on that and baseline it again. And go Pro-Stitcher, quilt run, proceed.
There we are. Pro-Stitcher run, and now it's moving the machine.
Yeah. And where it's quilted, it actually shows it on orange on the screen. I'm just going to pause it. The reason it's slightly jaggedy is it's on a 6 stitches per inch. Hang on. Go.
Can you increase the size of that design as well, so that we can see it better on the screen?
There we go. Oh, sorry.
Made it smaller.
Yes.
There we go.
This on the premium, it's a slightly different. There's a few different things.
There we are. So
brilliant.
We've got nothing stitched up here, but you can see the principle. It follows on the screen where it's stitching the design, and it stitches the design automatically. There we go.
Okay, we get a manual of how to install it all, and this one is actually for a Simply 16. You get
a simple block design like that is fairly straightforward, and the customer that I showed this week with her new machine was quite nervous about Pro-Stitcher, but she was doing things like that very quickly. It's really a very simple thing to learn.
Yes, and when I was doing the training with Claire, who had her Pro-Stitcher installed by Olivier over in Cambridgeshire just before Christmas, I mean, we got onto stuff yesterday that I normally do in the second session. So with Pro-Stitcher Premium, you get training with me one-on-one on a Zoom session. And there's things that we were getting into there, sort of about aligning borders and doing corners and the order that you sew out if you put 3 designs together. And that was our first Zoom session. I'm so impressed by how quickly people pick it up. But I think partly that's due to there's a lot of online information, there's a lot of videos and PDFs, and it's all about using it. And in fact, Claire made that exact point, is, you know, until I get a quilt on here, I feel like I will learn more. She just done a very small piece on it, but I will learn more and every single time I've just done, we'll show you at the end. And every single time I do something on Pro-Stitcher, I just do, you know, the kind of, how do I do that? What if I tried this? And if you're constantly sort of pushing those bounds, you learn every single quilt. So it's a great system. Chewy tablet. Chewy is very much like a Surface Pro. You get all the installation stuff, the holder for the tablet, and then under here you get your tray. Okay, so all of that is there, just in the box. And then you can, as I said, you've got the built app, so you can actually follow on your app, on your phone, and it'll take you through exactly what to do. Now let's compare what we've just discussed with Pro-Stitcher Premium and talk about a few of the other machines that it's possible to use Pro-Stitcher on. Now, sometimes we get questions from people who've got an existing machine like an Avante, and they say, okay, well, I've got Avante Pro-Stitcher. Can I just upgrade my Avante to an Amara and move the Pro-Stitcher with it? And the answer is sadly no. However, there's a fantastic demand for Pro-Stitchers for Avantes. So we would have no problem in assisting you with the sale on our Pre-Loved Longarms website of either of those machines. But the Amara with Pro-Stitcher is a really different system from the Avante with Pro-Stitcher. So the Amara Pro-Stitcher, rather like with the Moxie, all the internal cabling is inside this housing. And that means that you're going to be able to install this and don't have many trailing wires, just like on the Moxie. So at the back here, we've got very similar sort of situation. The differences are, with the Amara and with the Avante Forte and Infinity, you get your free motion carriage that comes with the machine. You will not need that because you get a complete new carriage with the tray installed already. And this tray here has got the communications. So we've got communications here going between the machine and the carriage, power supply. Okay, that's it. You install a blue track just like we did on the Moxie. And at the front, we've got, this is...
Here's the tray. Show you under the machine. Not easy to see, of course, when the machine's on top, but all the gears and motors are
you can move it to the side.
Inside.
Yeah, this one, we've got lights on this one, which show whether, what the motors are doing and various other things that it tells us. It's the big difference really is the speed of the machines that use this carriage are much faster. So we have, pretty much the same tray, and the motors are used on the Infinity. It's just on a bigger carriage because that's a 26-inch throat space machine. But both the Amara and the Forte are very, very similar. Just the length of the underneath, the bar that goes on the underside.
The box then, Liz. So this is the Pro-Stitcher box that you get with the Amara.
Yeah.
It's bigger and longer because it comes with that complete new carriage with the motors built in. And the reason that it's not compatible with other machines is that they obviously have bigger carriages.
Yeah, it's the carriage size. And the motors on the Pro-Stitcher Premium product are, as I say, faster. They use a very similar encoder, excuse me, as on the Amara itself. Yeah. And, it does have a faster capacity. So for the Infinity, you're talking about 3,100 stitches per minute.
So Trudy Wenman says, do we have any new dates for the foundation courses? Cannot make March. Well, we're actually just adding an extra date in March.
10th of March.
10th of March.
Yeah.
The ones after that, I'll look them up. Trudy, I'll come back to you in a second.
Yeah, we need to just agree to that because actually I've seen a clash.
Oh, okay.
We Pete and I in December we worked out pretty much all the dates for the year, didn't we? But
we've already got a clash.
Yeah.
So they'll be available very soon anyway, Trudy.
They will. They will. It's likely to be either late May or early June. So going back to Pro-Stitcher Premium. Pro-Stitcher Premium, then you get the tablet, but this time you've got over 800 designs on it. Again, you can add new designs. So if you go onto one of the online websites where you can find downloadable digitized designs, and it comes with the holder that connects onto the Amara at the front. Actually, the cone that's on the Amara has got all of the connections in there so that you get your power supply and your information communications. They all go through the nose cone on the Amara. So it's very neat, very, very neat. And it's a lovely system. I do love the Pro-Stitcher, both on the Lite and the Premium, because you can do some really cool stuff. And this is what I did today. So I really wanted to sort of play around with this block I've had for a long time, a little bow tie block. And I did this Harriet Carpanini design called Catch on it. I wanted it to go across all of it, and it's going to be a cushion. So it's going to look nice. And then I did, Harriet has a nice little detail that you can use for a border that I thought it went with the design itself. I wonder if you can see that. And if I take this off in due course, I'll post it online and you'll be able to see the back because you can see the design much, much better. But it's super because it's very quick to do. And with the channel locks in the vertical and horizontal, I can just put a simple cushion front like this onto a backing piece. This one I actually did 2 layers of wadding. I did a puffy polyester on top of a Hobbs Heirloom 8020. And that gives me that sort of lovely, relief that I really wanted. So it's going to go in our snug in due course. Yeah. And that will enable us to, do things like cushion covers. You could line up 5 or 6 in a row if you've got a 12-foot frame. And you can do cot quilts, multiples of those, etc. So it's a really flexible system. One of the things that I did use on this, which is quite neat, and I don't think you've got it on Pro-Stitcher Lite, is you can stitch a diagonal line using the move function. That was quite nice because I wanted to do diagonal for the corners. So that meant I could do that. We'll be doing some more, we'll give you some information later in the year about the Pro-Stitcher classes that we'll be running both on Zoom, and there'll be some hands-on as well. So I think that's it. Let me just get my notes, because Pete's just in my notes. Shall I come back over here, or shall I stay here?
No, stay where you are.
Stay where you are. Stay where you are. Don't move. All right. Now, I'm just going to check. So let's just talk about Pro-Stitcher Premium. Pro-Stitcher Premium, it will work on the Simply 16 with a loft frame. All right. And it will work with a Studio 2 frame, with a Simply 16, Amara on a Studio 2 frame, Amara on a Littlefoot frame, Forte on the Gallery 2 frame, and Infinity on the Gallery 2 frame. And then you've also got the ability to put Pro-Stitcher on your Avante Fusion, or we don't have them in the UK, but some people imported some with the HQ16. That is it, really. Lifetime updates, 5-year warranty, UK support and training. And we find Zoom works incredibly well for Pro-Stitcher. So I can do screen share, show you the Pro-Stitcher, which is the simulation mode, show you how that works, and then you can stitch it out on your system.
And a question from the new Pro-Stitcher customer yesterday, which is a very good question.
Yeah.
All very well doing the live Zoom sessions, but can I look at the Zoom recording afterwards?
Yes, you can. So I record it and then I upload it to a private link, so it's unlisted on YouTube. So all of our sort of, jokes that we make through the session are not shared with the entire world, and that's great, because was that with Claire that we did yesterday? Oh no, with the one that okay, yeah. So yeah. So Jackie, when we do your Zoom session, I'll send you a link to the YouTube video, and then you can watch it at your leisure. Whenever you want, you can go back through the experience that was your Zoom training. And you can pause it and just step through some of the exercises, because that's what we'll do. It meets all the electrical and electronic standards. It's WE, so it basically means that all the recycling, it meets all of those standards and compatibility. You'll notice that there are no loose belts and all that kind of stuff. This is very much it's a very safe system. You can upgrade the tablet in the future. If in the future Handy Quilter come out with a fantastic zippy-doo-dah new Pro-Stitcher version, and your computer is 10 years old or something and it can't run it, which can happen, obviously technology does move on, you can either keep your existing system and it'll work as a standalone, or you can upgrade it to a new tablet. That's what's happened in the past. For those customers who started with the original, they might have an old levered carriage, but they've upgraded the tablet and it works just fine. So intuitive, lots of designs, WYSIWYG. I think that's everything that we were going to cover, isn't it, Pete? I think.
On Pro-Stitcher, I think, yes.
Yeah. So one of the things, as I mentioned at the beginning, is that we signed up to Trustpilot towards the end of last year. It's always difficult, isn't it? If you're thinking about investing in a large long-arm system and you wonder what it's going to be like, what's the training like, or what's our customer service like, and all that kind of thing, compared to maybe, other machines, or whatever you've got, now your sort of domestic machine, how's it going to work out for you? So we signed up Trustpilot because we thought, actually, our customers are the ones who are going to give the best information, and they're all validated reviews. So it's from people who've purchased from us. And in order to encourage people to put a Trustpilot review on there, we got a free prize draw. So the free prize draw, there are 61 people in the virtual hat. And I'm going to pick one of them out. This is the third prize. There are 3 prizes. You have the chance, if you entered a Trustpilot review, of getting a £25 gift voucher, a £50 gift voucher, or a £100 gift voucher. So let me pick one of these. This is the third prize. This will be £25. And this goes to Jean Twycross. Excellent. Now, Jean, absolute congratulations on that. Jean does some beautiful quilts and was here for some of our workshops towards the end of last year. And it was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Always good to see Jean. Prize, £50 gift voucher. This one goes to Louise Collier. So Louise has got a Moxie, and you've also got the Pro-Stitcher Lite already, haven't you? So that's good. So that's second. That's third. Yes. Admin system and operation there. It's Pete's.
There we are.
There we go.
Once an accountant, always an accountant. There we are. That's the first one. Covering you up at the same time. Liz. Louise.
There we go.
Well done. £50 gift voucher.
First prize. The first prize, £100 of gift vouchers, goes to the lucky winner today is Debbie Shortall. Debbie, congratulations. Fantastic. So, remind me, Debbie's got
Debbie's
Moxie.
No.
Gosh, I can't remember now.
No,
sorry, Debbie.
I think Debbie's got I think she's got an Amara or an Avante, I can't remember.
Okay.
She's in Northamptonshire, I think.
There we go.
There we are. Debbie Short. Oh.
Fantastic. Congratulations, Debbie. We'll send you a link. And Jean and also Louise, you'll get a link to the gift voucher. It'll come on an email to you. And we'll send that through.
Thank you to everybody who submitted a review with it. We're really grateful for that.
We are.
Interesting when we were looking at signing up for different review sites. Yes. Trustpilot is an independent site, and they do verify the reviews. So that they ensure that all these people are genuine customers. Interestingly, some of the sites you can just sign up to, and there's no checking as to who is posting reviews at all. No. So it could be the company's employees, or
or it could be your competitors.
Or it could be your competitors. Yes.
Which would be
so
pretty. So
these are all genuine
bad.
Reviews, and we know all of those people.
Yeah. Okay. So our workshops coming up. 10th of March is the additional date that I've put in for the foundation workshop. That will be going live. It'll certainly be live by the weekend. And
yes, because we're fully booked, aren't we, for the 2 that we had already planned?
Yes. So the 13th and 14th foundation workshops are fully booked, which is fantastic. Because there's 11, 12 people on each of those. And we've also got good numbers on the 15th. So that's rulers, feathers and fills. If you have done a foundation workshop in the past and would love to learn a little bit more about ruler work, getting started with feathers, and also doing fills similar to the ones that I showed you on the... Do you want to just pass that over again, Pete?
What?
The fills. That one. Yeah. So this is something that I did with Telen. So this is the sort of typical free motion work, but also where I've used a grid, and Telen showed us how to use that grid to kind of produce these different types of fills. I love that one. It's kind of like really effective, like netting, yeah. So it's really, really fun to do fills because it creates a lot more texture in your quilt, interest, and it means that we can fill shapes, we can do ruler work, and then we fill them. I show you this. I've learnt feathers now from so many different people, but you always learn something from different methods of teaching. So even if you've had a go at feathers, I'll be teaching several different ways of creating the feather shape, which hopefully will mean that you will fly with your feathers, if you pardon the pun. And that is on the 15th of March. So spaces are still available. You choose either a stand-up or a sit-down. We will try and match you to the machine you have, but it isn't always possible. There we go. We will be announcing our open day, which is scheduled for April. And on that open day, we will aim to have a fantastic speaker that will inspire your creativity, as well as some hands-on practical sessions demonstrating some of the newest tools that we've got, and also and some things like some of the feet, because it's always nice to have like a hands-on of the couching, and I'm just loving this couching. It's so much fun, particularly with that lovely chenille that we got in. And this is really weird. Telen came over with this fabric, and I happened to have in my couching stash the perfect couching wool that went with it. We couldn't believe it. We must be so in tune. On that lovely note, and I hope Telen is very well. I know that she's not been well she had shingles recently in December. So having had it myself in the past, it's a very unpleasant thing and it hurts like hell. So I hope that you're fully recovered, Telen, because it was lovely to see you when you came over at the end of October, November, and we'd love to have you back here again at some point in the future. Now, Mr. Holpin.
Yes.
That's how I get his attention. Is there anything else we need to mention before we sign off for today? And
can't think of anything.
Okay, great. In that case, I shall get back to doing my emails and step away from the quilt face.
And I'll go and email those lucky prize winners and send them their gift vouchers.
Fantastic. And I'm going to get that 10th of March workshop on there. All right. So you take care, everybody. Happy quilting. Have a wonderful weekend.